Hello, this is Survival-gyver, and today we're taking a look at the Roxon Elite D2 multi-tool. Alright, so this is the one that comes with the extra bit set, and I'll show you how all that works shortly, but this is the main tool. It's supposed to have 13 tools, and I'm going to argue it's less than that, because they're adding items on the list of tools that are not tools. So we'll discuss that shortly. It's a big pet peeve. I've called out other companies for the same issue, because that's a problem. It's misrepresenting the tool, and I'm not a big fan. I am a fan of this tool. This is actually pretty cool. I've been using it for a couple of weeks now. So on the back here you have a belt clip, which is pretty high tension. I can't even show you with one hand, but it is very high tension. It's got a G10 handle on both sides, G10 material. And why is it called D2? Well, the majority of the tools are not D2, only the knife. So, okay, it's going to be, there we go. Oddly enough, I'm one of the few people that can get it to open that way. A lot of people have trouble opening it. Sometimes it's really loose, and in this case it's not. It's quite tight. So it's just a regular plain edge blade in D2. The rest of the tools, for the most part, the screwdriver is 5CR15 MOV, and I will show you the screwdriver in a moment. There's this weird little lock mechanism on here. So if you push this way, it releases the tools on the side. This Phillips head driver and file is 5CR15 MOV, and the rest of the tool steel is a DIN 1.4116, which is just a regular tool steel. But let's show you here. So we got a file, and there's a Phillips head driver. There is an awl with thread hole. Now, they list this as two separate tools. The awl is separate from the thread hole. There's a problem with that. You can't use the thread hole without the awl. So that's kind of pointless. This is one tool. That's it. Just one tool, even though they count it as two. This one has three tools on it. So you have a little flathead driver, a crude but works can opener, and a regular bottle opener. Would not be a multi-tool without a bottle opener. And they all lock just fine. Sit right up there and lock. The awl is actually quite sharp. You could consider it an extra blade. And just so you know, you can force it past the lock. So to unlock this, you're supposed to turn this way to unlock it. However, just give it a little push and you'll be able to unlock it either way. So the lock is not great on it. All right? On the top here, that little ball bearing looking thing there is a glass breaker. So this, of course, was the knife. What else is in here? Well, there's actually a couple more tools in here. And one of them I need a special tool to open because I lack nails. You can tell I lack nails. It's a genetic problem, so my apologies on that. First one is going to be this part right here. Okay. Apparently it's really hard to do with the camera in the way because I can't see what I'm doing. So if I take this section out and then flip it around, that is one heck of a size of scissor. That's a big scissor out of a little multi-tool. And they work. They work out really, really well. Nice huge scissor. Now there's a neat little trick to this. If you look at the very end here, you can get it to focus. And that little metal tang. I'm going to take my handy dandy tool again, put it underneath the tang. If I can do this without shaking. You see a little metal sliver comes out. What do you think that is? That is a tweezer. It's not a great tweezer, but it's better than nothing. I've tried it on quite a few little splinters I get from work, usually metal ones, and it's not great. It works if you fiddle with it enough, but it's better than nothing. It's more for, in my case, picking up small screws or small pieces of hardware instead of using my hands. And it just slides right back into that little notch right there. So this folds right back up. And that's what that big blade here is. So knife, scissor, your multi-tools, and then there's something else. But it's hard to remove. Even with nails, it's hard to remove. I've had to continue to use a multi-tool for it, or my pry bar. There's a saw. Now, it's a pretty sharp saw. It does have some manufacturing defect to it. See if I can get this to show. Look at the peaks and ridges. They look like little mountains. Like there's a peak and then a little ridge south of it on each one. If I turn it around, come on, if I can get it to focus, you will see that a lot of them, come on, have extra material left in them. Just little extra pieces of material. So it's not like it wasn't machined perfectly. But it's not bad, it still works. There it is, it's a liner lock on that, most of the time. I had to pause it for a moment to get that back in there. It is a liner lock, but it's hard to reach. I had to use my titanium pry bar to put it back in. So, is that 13 tools? Well, let's see. The tools are listed as knife, scissor, file, Phillips head screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, bottle opener, can opener, threader, awl, saw, tweezer, belt clip, glass breaker. So my argument there is the come on, I can't see what I'm doing because the camera's in the way. The awl doesn't work. It works fine by itself, but the threader will not work with anything else. It has to work with the awl. That's one tool, not two. On a side note, the pocket clip is not a tool. It's a feature. So that's a little iffy there. Right? But this model does come with a bit set. And they only count this as one item, so that's pretty cool. At least they got some of that right. So how do you access it? Let me take the screwdriver out again. So there's your Phillips head screwdriver. You take this little adapter piece here. It's square on one side and it's hexagonal on the other. And that just slides on. Then you can take any of these precision bits and there it goes. So now you have a extended multi-use screwdriver. There's a problem with this though. Though the bit is magnetized into this piece here, this is not magnetized onto there, so it comes right off. So that is a little finicky. But it works. But there is another tool that they don't tell you about. Taking it off the screen so it doesn't get screwed with the focusing. So what is the other tool it's missing? Did you know that there's a ruler on this tool? It's on the other side of the screwdriver. So why would you need a ruler? And I mean, it's a tiny ruler, they don't even talk about it. So what if you needed to measure something like, let's measure my titanium pry bar. If I can get this to line up so I can see what I'm doing. Put it at 0. You can tell that it's about a ½ inch thick, or however mil thick you need it. Or say if you just need from there to there is about 1 centimeter or 10 millimeter. So you can do, say if you needed to measure hardware like bolts or screws, right? Now obviously length of the bolt would matter on a bunch of things, but say if you needed to figure out the thread, whatever the thread pitch is, you could figure it out with a basic ruler. You could figure out its length, its shank size, there's a lot you can do even with a small ruler. So, strangely enough, that they don't add that to the list of tools. So, what else? It also comes with this nice little sheath. It's a basic sheath, got a single loop here, which is, stitching's okay on it, but I mean, it's like a second thought. They do have a Velcro piece there, and it is 2 pockets. So this back pocket does fit that just fine, and this fits fine in there. So, other than it being kind of odd how they list the tools, which I'm not a fan of, and the crappy locking mechanism, and I mean, it's nice to be able to open up tools this easily just by doing that. But if it doesn't lock properly, see, now it's fine. Sometimes it's fine, sometimes it's not. Now if I move this over, it'll loosen up. And of course, probably didn't see how I did this. There's a liner lock on the knife. Now the knife does not sit perfectly in the center. It's off to one side, but it's not horrible. So if you need just a small multi-tool, it's got a decent bit set, even though it's got a funky mechanism to make that work. And as long as you have nails to be able to pull some of this stuff out, be great. Would make a great gift. But for what it is, I would definitely take one of these over anything Gerber. There's actually one of my subscribers was asking if he was going to take a look at this as opposed to one of the Gerber multi-tools that I've already done in the past, and how much I hated that specific tool. And this has been in my cart, so I picked one up. For the most part, it's well designed. It's a little goofy on the tools, as I said. I disagree that making an awl and a thread hole be separate tools, because you can only use one of them. But other than that, it's nicely designed. So I'll definitely take a look at more on the Roxon stuff soon. But if you like this video, please press like. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. Questions or comments, leave them below, and I will answer them as soon as I can. It's usually within 24 to 48 hours. I try to be quicker than that, but life does get in the way. And that's it. So thank you for watching, and have a glorious night.